What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Lions video. Now, as we all know at this point, Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell are looking to rebuild this Detroit Lions franchise and this Detroit Lions football team. However, they are doing it very differently from their predecessors. The Detroit Lions this year, and with this new regime being at the head, are looking to move a little bit in a different direction when it comes to building up this franchise. Now, it is no secret, and anybody that has been keeping track of the Detroit Lions organization over the past couple of months will know that Brad Holmes' first thing he wanted to do, the first order of business, was to build up the trenches and build up the offensive line. Now, in today's video, I'm going to talk about the Detroit Lions O-line, the current state, what they have done to improve it, their ceiling as of this year, and why the Detroit Lions might have a top 5 offensive line next season and be set up for success years and years down the line. Now, before we get into the video, if you're new to the channel and you're enjoying the content, please consider liking the videos and subscribing to the channel. It takes just 2 seconds out of your day to do so. It's quick, free, and easy, and you'd be helping the channel out more than you could possibly know. So if you could do that, take those 2 seconds to like and subscribe. I'd be greatly appreciative for it. But with all that being said, without any further ado, let's get into talking about this Detroit Lions offensive line, its ceiling for next season, and what to expect from the Lions. Now, as I said, the first order of business for Brad Holmes was building up the offensive line and building up the trenches. And I'm not talking add a piece here and there. I'm talking build it top to bottom to be one of the best and longest lasting units in the entirety of the NFL. Now, Brad Holmes did come into the Detroit Lions with a pretty solid offensive line already in place. The Quinn Trisha era, although they did not heavily focus on the trenches, did have a couple of players here when they got here and did add a couple of key pieces to this offensive line already. When Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell got here, they already had 3 of the 5 offensive linemen in place in Taylor Decker, the left tackle, who last year played 1,048 snaps for the Lions, having just 6 penalties and allowing just 2 sacks. He played at an incredibly high level, played at a Pro Bowl, potential All-Pro caliber level. Wasn't named to the Pro Bowl, wasn't named to the All-Pro team, but played right up there with the best the league had to offer. Now, Jonah Jackson was the left guard a season ago. He played in 1,006 snaps for the Lions, having 5 penalties and 5 sacks. Definitely had some rookie mistakes, definitely had some things that he needs to work on for next year, but showed a lot of flash and a ton of potential to be a full-time starting guard in the NFL. We all know about Frank Ragnow. Frank Ragnow is a monster, played 929 snaps last year for the Lions, having just 3 penalties and allowing 0 sacks on the season. And even Tyrell Crosby a season ago, who was thrown into a starting role that he was not expected to have, played okay, had 657 snaps played for the Lions, allowing just 3 penalties and 5 sacks. So not the greatest play, but from a guy that is primarily going to be a backup tackle or a swing tackle in the NFL, those are not horrible stats for a guy that was thrown into the starting position out of really nowhere, since Big V was not able to start this season incredibly healthy. Now, in the offseason, the Detroit Lions worked a ton to improve this offensive line and make it one of the top units in the NFL. They did move Big V to guard. He was originally slated to play right tackle for the Detroit Lions. However, they have officially moved him to the guard position, where he will be competing for a starting spot. I think he does have better talents that will fit him better at the guard position. He's not as agile as you'd like to see at your tackles, but he is incredibly strong, has really, really good size, and is a really solid run blocker, which to me translates far better to the guard position than the tackle position. So from that standpoint, the Lions, Brad Holmes took a player already on the roster and put him in a better position to be better and just help the team that much more. Of course, the Lions drafted Penei Sewell with the 7th overall pick. In his time with the Oregon Ducks, he played in 1,377 snaps with only allowing 3 quarterback hits and 1 sack in 2 seasons. They also got Drake Jackson, a undrafted free agent center from Kentucky. He, in the SEC in a couple of years, in 3 years, played in 2,383 snaps, allowing just 1 quarterback hit and 1 sack. And they also signed Tommy Kramer, a guard out of Notre Dame, in undrafted free agency, who in his 804 snaps at Notre Dame only allowed a single sack. Now, not only are the Detroit Lions set up to have immediate success, right? I mean, a line consisting of Taylor Decker, Jonah Jackson, Frank Ragnow, either Tyrell Crosby or Big V at that starting guard position, as well as Penei Sewell at the right tackle, is looking on paper to be a probably, at least at the worst, top 10 offensive line in the entirety of the NFL. Now, that does not mention some other guys that are already on the roster, including Logan Stenberg and a couple of other depth pieces that are already here. Those are just some of the guys that they added and some of the big name talents on this roster and in this offensive line unit. Now, again, the Lions are not just set up to have team success in 2021. They are set up to have success through 2022, 2023, and even far beyond that. Taylor Decker, as I said, is coming off a phenomenal season playing left tackle. He is just 27 years old and has a contract signed with the Detroit Lions. Gratitude to Bob Quinn on this one, signed through the 2025 season. Jonah Jackson is still on his rookie contract, a third-round pick rookie contract. Is not very expensive for the Lions. He's only 24 years old and has a contract signed through 2023. Frank Ragnow is just 25 years old and just signed a massive contract extension to place him in Detroit as the starting center through the year 2026. Of course, Penei Sewell being the second youngest player in the draft at just 20 years old, when he does sign his contract, is going to have a 4 to 5 year deal, of course, with the 5th year option being available for use for the Lions, leaving him in Detroit and getting him here in Detroit through 2025 through 2026 potentially. So with that being said, our starting offensive line, at least 4 of the 5 starting offensive linemen, are all relatively young. I mean, Penei Sewell's 20, Ragnow's 25, Jackson's 24, and the veteran of our offensive line is 27 years old. That is a team, that is an offensive line that is set up for tremendous offensive success and long-term success at that. Now, not to mention, Logan Stenberg's only 24 years old. He is signed through 2023, and I think still has a lot of potential, especially as a run blocker for the Detroit Lions. Drake Jackson and Tommy Kramer are both rookies. They're UDFAs, and they have signed 3-year contracts. The usual 3-year contract that you give to an undrafted free agent. They are both here through at least 2023, and I think both of them are going to make the roster this year. And not to mention, as I said, of course, Tyrell Crosby is here. His contract is in the last year of his contract. However, he could be re-signed for relatively cheap or could be traded because we have so much depth, could be traded for a potential draft pick. You also have Big V, who again is moving to be a starting right guard, who again is signed, I believe, through 2024. So that's 5 starting offensive linemen, the oldest of which is 27. The left tackle is here through 2025. The left guard is here till 2023. The center is here through 2026. The right tackle is here through 2025 or 2026. And the right guard is here through at least 2024, if not 2025 as well. I don't remember the exact details at the moment. Not to mention the depth here, the backup guard is here through 2023. The backup center is here through 2023. The other backup guard is here through 2023. And if they need a backup tackle, Big V can play a backup tackle position, or they could, as I said, sign Tyrell Crosby to a longer term deal as well and really solidify a strong and deep offensive line across the entirety of the board, giving them one of the best, strongest, and long-lasting offensive lines in the entirety of the NFL. You look at this team, you look at the Detroit Lions, and for a long time, their problem was they could not protect Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford took more hits as a quarterback in Detroit than almost anybody else in the entirety of the league, and eventually got tired of it and felt like it was time to move out. Felt like it was time he had to leave to find the success that he wanted to find as a player. I can't hate on him for it because he got beat up in Detroit over and over and over again because for so long the offensive line was not very good. NFL teams that find success in the NFL, teams that are Super Bowl contenders and playoff contenders, all have one thing in common. They have built up the trenches. They have a really, really good O-line. The Buccaneers had a top O-line this season. The Kansas City Chiefs had a top O-line all season until the Super Bowl, and you saw exactly what happened there. The Packers had a top offensive line. The Bills had a top offensive line. Those were the 4 teams in the championship games a season ago. You look at Baltimore, very good offensive line. You look at some of the other other teams that are in the playoffs right now, and some of the other teams that made the playoffs a season ago. The Saints are a good example of that. You know, some of the other teams that are slipping my mind right now, they are all, the Browns especially, they had probably the best offensive line in football. Offensive lines make teams great. Offensive lines are not the flashy positions. They're not the guys that are going to get out. They're not the guys that are going to sell tickets. They're not the guys that are going to sell jerseys, but they are the guys that dictate football games. Great offensive lines equal great NFL football teams, and the Detroit Lions are building one of the, if not the best offensive line and one of the longest lasting offensive lines in the entirety of football. So with all that being said, that is all I have for you guys today. I will tip my hat to Brad Holmes on this one. He is doing a phenomenal job building up the offensive trenches, and he's not doing too bad of a job on the defensive ones either. But with all that being said, that is all I have for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think about this offensive line. Let me know what you guys think about this group going forward. Do you think they could be a top 5 offensive line in football? Do you think they could be the best offensive line in football? And how do you feel about this Lions team, and especially about this offensive line moving into the future? Let me know all that down in the comments below. But with all that being said, that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you all so very much for watching, and until next time, and as always, go Lions!